companies, actually they take the grand prize because I have seen so many things from them, and at this point I can't expect anything worse to happen except for a massive explosion to come upon Manchester and for everything to get burnt down. Maybe that would have a happy ending, not so much for all the lives that are going to be lost, but because they're going to put a stop, hopefully, to all the chemical plants being around neighborhoods. If something this tragic doesn't spark some kind of curiosity or initiative from state officials, and I don't know what can. I guess humanity in itself is just going to die off because nobody cares, or at least in Houston. And aside from that, it's just, you're just used to everything. You get acclimated and you can't do anything.
My name is Victor Trevino. I go to Reagan High School. I am 17 years old. I've been skating for well over 8 years already. I skate just about every day, or at least twice a day. Big hazards are cars around here, and sometimes we have flooding around here in our ditches, and it causes, like trash to come up on the streets. So sometimes that could cause like sticks getting in the way, and that causes falling and stuff. Skating to me, I see it as something just to do. Like, it's really fun. I like doing it. It gets my mind off stuff, and that helps me a lot in like different ways. If I'm feeling down, I'm like, okay, I'll go skating. It gets my mind off a lot of stuff. So skating's been there for me for already almost 8 years already. So been doing that. Yeah, time to time it would look nice if we actually, did something for the community here in Denver Harbor to make it, at least look, decent. It doesn't look too bad, but to make some, changes and some improvement wouldn't be bad.
So when it comes to the environment, I want to care about it because it's my home, and then there's so many people, and then with all the bad chemical plants and stuff, it really we need help, because so many people are just living here, and we just want I would just want for the environment to be better. So that's kind of why I chose to be a part of this project, and also just to care about it more, I guess. My name is Adriana Salinas, and I'm 15 years old. I go to Yes College Prep, Southeast Campus, charter school that no one's ever heard of. And I live on this southeast side of town called Meadow Creek Village. Well, I think about living in Houston, and it's really populated, and we're all, there's a lot of people, and we're kind of really unhealthy and all fat and stuff, and but it's still not that bad of a city. We are at Mason Park. Kind of live close by, not really, but I work out here. I run whenever. I run around here, and a lot of people don't really think about it this way, I guess, but I'm running, just to stay healthy, stay fit, but with the chemicals and everything, Lord knows if I really am getting healthy or anything. I'm probably just getting worse, but yeah, this is where I work out. And over here is the bayou. It's one of the biggest bayous here in Houston, and we're actually trying to I guess make it better. Over there they have they're building a marsh so that it can clean out the pollution and stuff. inside, so that hopefully within a couple of years it'll be cleaner and the bayou won't smell as bad as it does out here, and like things will actually be better.
My mom works at this nail salon, and there's like a lot of clients that come in talking about how much their asthma is like really bad for them. And there's one lady named Amanda who couldn't even like get out of her house sometimes because the air was like so bad. And then she had to quit her job and all these other inconveniences. She lives on Howard, near Chavez. Well, the reason I wanted to do this was because I wanted to be a part of something that would educate others on doing good for their community, because indirectly or directly it does affect them somehow. And also it was a learning opportunity for me too. Most of them are like, you're stupid for doing this because nobody really cares and it's not going to affect you. And then like, yeah, but I kind of gotten through to my mom, so now she recycles cans and she gives it to homeless people, which is really nice of her, because I love her for that, yeah. But my dad is still like, saying I'm stupid. Yeah. But it's cool. Tên của con là Sheila, con 17 tuổi, rồi con sanh ở bên Cali.
Speaking from a church, we believe that everything was created by God, and that when God created everything, He also told us that this is good. He also said to go out and take care of it. Okay? Then when He created the human beings, He said, okay, you are in my image and likeness. Okay, so if we're in God's image and likeness, we're supposed to act like God towards creation. So people forget, that we are made in God's image, and when we dominate the earth and when we produce and multiply, we are to do it the way God did it. Okay, bringing order to chaos, not bringing chaos to order. I've been kind of environmental conscience. We call it, in theological terms, integrity of creation. And so we have some priests that I know that are very much involved in it, and I've learned a lot from them about the different environmental issues. So I've been involved with those kind of issues pretty much in different ways all my life. And so that's kind of specifically here. My involvement came through our organization called the Metropolitan Organization, which is an organization of churches and institutions and schools here in Houston. And it's also networked with other organizations throughout Texas. And we basically talk to people and see what's affecting their families and how we can help to improve their way of living, and also get them an effective voice at the table, because we find that a lot of people in our parishes don't feel like they affect what's going on in their lives, okay? In terms of, they feel like there's people with power and they get everything they want, but they don't feel like the people here don't feel like they have a voice at the table. So we try to organize them to get them a voice at the table.
Well, I got involved because, actually I live around here, you see everything around here, like fabricas and stuff like that, waste everywhere, and you start noticing that people actually talks about it, they just ignore it after a while, they don't know it exists at all. So actually it's just mostly to show people it actually exists. It's not just a meat or something.
Well, I got in it because I felt like I want to make a difference, even if it's just one person. Little by little you get to other people and you say there's nothing wrong with my neighborhood, and you claim your neighborhood or wherever you're from, but then you start to notice things around you, I shouldn't have to be living like this, I could live better. Not necessarily meaning that you have to have money or be rich, but live somewhere nice where you don't have to worry about the air you breathe, the sidewalks you walk on, and things like that.
It was a report on the Houston Chronicle. Before I would never pick it up, and one day I decided to start reading it, so I did, and it just so happens that there was an article there concerning the air quality here in Manchester and Harrisburg. And as I read it, I was like, oh my God, all of this is going on, and I didn't know. And I guess that woke me up, and I started reading a lot more. I started getting involved in the community. I started just trying to educate myself and the people around me. And to this day, I haven't stopped. It's just, I have to get educated. Now that I know stuff, I can't see myself without knowing anything. And supposedly,
Luego lo escuchamos.
So, what's it like living in Magnolia?
You get used to it. Just remember, everything could be worse.
What I just found?
What's that?
Grass.
There's drunkies everywhere around here, so get used to it.
Yeah. That's the thing, you shouldn't have to get used to it.
I've been calling and they've been giving me around and around, and they haven't done anything since April. This is a bridge that was well done since Rita, and it's blocking the bayou, that there's a lot of trash in the bayou.
Another night after dark, watching the ghost of Emancipation Park.
Like 9 years ago. Okay, so I've been contributing this, even though I pay my taxes. I've been contributing every time I cut my yard, me and my husband, and even my kids. But right now, it's impossible. It's impossible. I even have to pay $350 to go and clean, to bring someone to clean that up to where the 50 feet are, all the way up to where the bayou is. That's how I'm contributing. I believe that.
Where is he going?
He wants to go with his friends, I guess. See, he coughs a lot.
When he runs, huh?
See, yeah.
Well, he's never had eye problems till he moved to my house, and when he moved here, he's getting swollen eyes and yucky junk coming out of it and coughing, and the vet don't know how to explain it. Say hi, Daddy. Say hi. My husband's developed this growthy junk on his elbows and his knees, and my neighbor has it real bad too ever since we moved here.
Wow.
And now my son, who's 9 years old, is just starting to get it.
Develop it.
And we all live here now.
Yeah.
We've been living in here. Well, this house was built and bought in the 40s. I've been living in here since 1959. I can say we're already pioneers in here. We established this place.
started bad. It started real bad. That's when I started getting sick, couldn't breathe. I thought I was having a heart attack. The doctors didn't know what was wrong with me. There was no medication to help me out. I asked the doctor to give me a B12 shot so I can have the strength in my body. I was so weak. I was just like this. I couldn't walk. They bring different kind of material from one side of the chip channel, probably to Brown and Root and something like that. They have to protect big companies. But what about us? And then the doctor says, well, we need something for you to tell us what's going on. I called them that I needed the public records. Up till this day, I haven't got them. I need the public records from Valero Asphalt, the ones. Well, we need to know how many times did you call. As sick as I was calling mostly every day, but it's not fair. It's not fair, and I'm not planning on letting it go that easy. I'm going to see. Okay, if I am the only person that has been affected by I'm going to take care of the children and the neighborhood that don't know how to. Like my brother says, just move out and rent. He said, leave this kind of problem to an innocent family? I could never do that. I could never do that. I want to help the neighborhood as much as I can. And God's willing, I am.
He was looking at us. It's like, oh. Put that beer down! Put that beer down!
We're gasping for help, and I say we because I am helping the neighborhood, even though they don't know.
How many of the 188 hazardous air pollutants identified in the Clean Air Act are we now monitoring? And of those that we can say something about, how do we establish a priority in terms of the relative risks they pose to the health of Houstonians? For the definite risks, 12 substances made the definite risk list. That is, pose the highest risk relative to all of the other chemicals that were accounted for in either the National Air Toxics Assessment or in our air quality system monitoring that went on. Diesel particulate matter, 1,3-butadiene, chromium-6, benzene, ethylene dibromide, acrylonitrile, formaldehyde, acrolein, chlorine, and hexamethylene diisocyanate. Those are the 12 in our list. Only half of those are actually monitored. And if you look across this list, you can see which of these are classified as carcinogens and which have toxicant qualities and contribute to chronic exposure, contributing to a variety of different kinds of diseases. Some of the chemicals like diesel particulate matter actually has both. It has a carcinogenic effect and a toxic effect independent of its carcinogenicity. And we wanted to designate the number of definite risk pollutants that we found to be present in these census tracts to get an idea about relative risk, again, and the fact that exposures are not distributed uniformly across the 10-county area. No one would say that seriously, but we wanted to get a more refined notion about what the pattern of concentration was. And as you can see, the Manchester-Harrisburg census tract, actually the super neighborhood is a little bit larger than that, but the census tract that contains most of Manchester and Harrisburg was the census tract that had 7 of our definite risk pollutants. And now, 2 major conclusions. One is about vulnerability in these communities, because EPA is convinced that risks accumulate, and that when you have one kind of exposure on top of another kind of exposure, the way to consider the overall health risk is to consider the cumulative effect of those exposures. And so our concern about these neighborhoods was not only that cumulative exposure idea, and we're also only considering outdoor exposures, we're not considering indoor exposures at all, and you can add those kinds of exposures in as well. But it's also the case that in terms of access to health care, in terms of the presence of health insurance, the age profile, the income levels, by any of those measures, as well as by a composite of those measures, these represent vulnerable neighborhoods, vulnerable in a public health sense. And when you add the level of exposure to their other vulnerabilities, it creates a special sense of priority for these neighborhoods beyond just the fact that they appear to be exposed to a number of chemicals in the air that they breathe. When you add that in with the morbidity and the mortality rates that come not just from potential sources in the air, but come from being poor and not having access to health care, then it compounds the problem and compounds the concerns for these neighborhoods.
Where are your parents from?
My parents are both from Mexico, and we stayed 1 year at Willow Creek Apartments, and all of the from that time on we've lived here, which is 15 years, I believe. There have been instances where my parents complain, things like that, but coming from a Mexican background, they're used to just sticking through things, and even though they're tough, they're like, oh well, we're gonna get through it. So I guess that's the stigma behind them. Or most of them are immigrants and don't want to draw attention to themselves. But there have been lots of instances, actually just recently, where parts of my family have moved out of Manchester, and suddenly they go to the doctor and they find they have cancer, their heart doesn't work, they have lumps in their throat, and I think it's because of living here. I can only think that it's because of the chemical plants. There's no direct correlation between it, but you can't just tell me that from one day to the next they get sick for no reason and they have cancer. It's something that attributes over a long period of time.
It was very nice.
Oh, I see it's Boy Scout Day today.
Boy Scouts.
Oh, that's great.
My name is Tom Stock. I'm an associate professor at the University of Texas School of Public Health. I've been working with Mothers for Clean Air on some projects, one of which is air sampling, and it's a project where we place air samplers outside of people's homes in the zip code under study, 77017. I'd just like to show how the badge works.
Please. And what kind of badge is that?
This is called an organic vapor monitor. So we found it to be a very nice tool. No moving parts, no noise. People really don't object to wearing this because we do some personal monitoring sometimes. And it's easy to place it, well, I'll show you an example, and almost any place, indoors, so it doesn't get in people's way. And you can usually find some nice convenient place outdoors. but the organics then will diffuse through the badge and then adsorb or get attracted into the surface of this charcoal. It's called activated charcoal. Okay, so at the end of the period, you have this pad that's got a lot of the pollutants absorbed into the charcoal.
What we do is we basically come to the school and put up the badge. We'll put it up here, we'll put it on here. And that way we'll be able to see how the air is doing where the kiddos are. We'll stay out here for 3 days and then I'll come pick it up and take it over to Dr. Stock where they will analyze the air, they will analyze the monitor there at the university.
And the instrument is called a gas chromatograph mass spectrometer. So this really instrument is the key to everything. Without this, we really couldn't do this kind of work. So it really is state-of-the-art instrumentation that allows a very conclusive identification and, very importantly, quantification, or knowing exactly how much of the contaminant, even at very low levels, is present in the sample. And
because you can never monitor enough.
The Bureau of Air Quality Control our role is to respond to complaints, do inspections, enforcement, monitor the air quality through the network of 8 monitoring stations we have, and basically work with the residents in the city of Houston to help them with their environmental needs. We try to reach out to the community and we hope to hear from them, regardless whether they call the problem or complaint in through the phone 311, our own direct line 640-4200, or face-to-face. The public can call complaints to 311, and 311 will refer those complaints directly to us. The advantage of that is that they can call anytime during the day from, I believe, 6 o'clock in the morning all the way till midnight, and they'll have a live voice. If it's outside of those hours, then it will hit a recording, and first thing in the next morning the complaint will be referred to us, and this includes Saturdays and Sundays. The other way of filing complaints, or at least tell us about problems that they have, is through the community meetings we have in certain sectors, such as Magnolia, Harrisburg, Allendale, Park Place, and I may be leaving somebody out. But we are very excited to be involved with our communities, and this is something that has been evolving, because in the past, up until about less than a year ago, we were not doing a whole lot of that. Of course, we were responding to complaints, we were working with citizens on one-on-one on issues that they raised, but we didn't have a proactive role in going out there and trying to understand firsthand what their concerns were. So with the example of the assessment and intervention at Clinton last week or so, that was an excellent opportunity for us to go out there and knock on the door, house to house, and ask some questions about, how do you feel about the air quality in your area? What are the problems that you face? Is it odors, smell, dust, etc.? So we hope to bring credibility about our interest in wanting to help, so that little by little, we know that we have to earn the respect and the trust of the public by going out there and reaching out to them, and not just simply sitting here in the office and waiting for somebody to come with a problem. So that's, I think, it's a significant advantage, and not only because hopefully we engage them, but because staff, employees enjoy that. They enjoy the face-to-face, they enjoy talking with the public, and they enjoy helping resolve problems at the at the community level.
We are in downtown Manchester.
And what are you standing in front of?
Air monitoring station. I haven't seen anybody actually walk in here and do something with it. I saw when they put it up. Aside from that, I haven't seen any personnel do anything with it.
And did they come around to the community, folks that live here, and let them know what this was and why they were monitoring the air?
They didn't. They had a sign up just saying that they were going to put something up as to what it was. They didn't specify. No information was given to my knowledge, at least. My parents didn't talk about it.
And since you've been living here and since this has been put up, have you received any data that has been generated from
None
this?
whatsoever. We don't know exactly what it does, if it collects anything, and if it does, what the results are.
Would you be interested in finding out what the...
Of course, I lived here all my life. I need to know what I'm breathing in. And hopefully there is some data behind this that's accessible to some people, because around here most people are unaware of what's going on.
TCEQ does is oversees all environmental activities in a 13-county region. We oversee Harris County and the 12 surrounding counties. Well, first of all, I think it's important to note that Harris County in general is a very well monitored county. There are actually more monitors in Harris County than there are in entire states throughout the United States. So we have got a lot of monitors. We're looking at a lot of different levels of a lot of different constituents throughout the county, so we can really have good data to kind of zero in on where these problems are stemming from. This particular area, the Milby Park area, has been of heightened concern, mainly because of high levels of butadiene and styrene that have been measured in this area. That was one of the reasons for the monitor that you see behind me. As the technology advances and gives us opportunities to better monitor, to better pinpoint where those problems are, that's huge too, to be able to move us forward. I think too, one of the big things for us is that citizen involvement really is very, very important. I know we spend time, I personally spend time with organizations, because it is absolutely critical that we have community involvement and community participation. And I think as I've seen the partnerships grow between the state and the local agencies and the communities, I think that has really been a strong reason why we're seeing the jump in improvements in air quality. I would really encourage everybody to at least become informed. If you can't get involved, to at least be informed as to what's going on in your community. I know if there are any suggestions on how we can better do that, because there are a lot of people, especially in this particular area, there are a lot of people who are really trying to get the word out.
And that's kind of the way I see it. And you got to start somewhere. Like I figured I got to start somewhere, so I start calling 311 when I see something that needs to be done. I keep track of it, and I take a little time to call them back. You can get your name in the system. They will email you a report and say, okay, this is your thing needs to be fixed. Whether it's a drain or anything that just needs to be fixed in your street. And when nothing happens, you call them back in a couple of weeks and you say, how's it going on my project here? And they'll tell you, well, this guy's working on a roof. And then they'll say, oh, he said he's already been out there. And I said, well, no, he's not. So, because sometimes that's what happened. They said, well, they've already done it. And I said, no, they haven't. So I called them back, and we just kept working at it. And it's not fair, but it's the only system we got right now. But I think everybody should vote always, and a lot of people don't vote. And when they say that, the reason they don't vote is because they don't have any hope. And I said, if we're going to be hopeful people, we have to vote. You know. Now the priest next door says it's a sin not to vote. I don't go that far.
Two options. One, get with a whole lot of people and try to do something about it, or move, because you're not going to win against the government by yourself.
I guess if there was to be one word of advice, it's just to be informed. Involved is really good. You know, coming to meetings and canvassing neighborhoods, that's great. But being informed is huge because the more informed the population is, the more you recognize when there's an issue or a problem, alert us quickly, we can get, you know, to the source as fast as possible. And it just all the way up the chain, it's a more effective, better system, the more informed.
Without everyone involved and working as a team, whoever you are, whoever we are, you know, we're not going to get there as fast as we need to. And with the public, you know, working with us and working alongside with us, hand in hand, which is what we need, is how we, I think, you know, can do better to clean up our air.
Well, actually, I think it's like I still believing that a few years ago, like my parents are always gonna take care of me, and their generation is ahead of us. He's been taking been taking care of the place for a while now. Like you notice, but little by little they disappear, and our generation is the one that comes up. So I think maybe it's time for us to like start getting involved to it. It's time for us to learn how to take care of it, maybe the same way or even better that they did.
You hear all the time, oh, you're the future, you're the kids for the future, you're our next generation. But people don't listen until you start seeing in the news, oh, this is happening. And yeah, the elders are now they're taking care of everything, but then it's gonna come to the moment where we're gonna be more grown up and we're gonna have to take care of it. And if we don't start right now, then it's gonna get really bad when you're not prepared in the future. So you have to start right now, taking care of you. First of all, your parents right now, then yourself, and then your kids that you're gonna have and your kids' kids.
As we went through all these things that we discussed about issues in our community, I just want you to think that you live in River Oaks, and would this agenda be the same thing as their agenda? Would our complaints, would their complaints be our complaints? And if they're not, obviously there's something wrong with the system. So those are the things that we got to look at. We've got to look at, because environmental discrimination is environmental racism. So communities that are low income and minorities are the ones that get the less assistance when it comes to city services, public services, federal and state, and all other entities. So we've got to realize that the only way we're going to change that is to be actively involved in our community. So we've got to also accept responsibility and accountability. We can't just put the burden on elected officials and say, well, we elected you to clean up here, or we elected you to do this. It's a dual process. They can do so much, and we can do so much. If it takes protest, like somebody says here, we need to protest. That is one of the strongest elements that communities have, to protest.
happen is if everybody just packed up and left. That's the best thing for all of us. When will we do it? Most likely never, because the people here can't afford another house.
If you dreamt of me and brought me flowers, would you tell your new man that we were just friends? Or would you give him the story of our love and how it could not end? Oh, the nights, they are so dark, and all you have that's left of me is in the photographs. You threw my ashes in the park. Darling, that's that strange, beautiful. When you made love, would you remember those things I once whispered in your ear? Or the days of last December, of our good times and how they all drowned in tears? I was lost in second ward. I drank a